Sitting by her sister, having nothing to do, Alice was beginning to get tired. Considering her own mind, the day made her feel sleepy when a white rabbit ran by. With the waistcoat pocket, a watch to take out of it, burning with curiosity, she ran, and was just in time to watch it pop down a rabbit hole. Down went Alice after it. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, 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 down. Down, down, down. Past cupboards and bookshelves. Down, down, down. Maps and pictures on the wall. Down, 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 down. Will it the fall never end? The fall never end. Welcome to Wonderland. So we all know the story, right? It's simple. Alice falls asleep and has a weird dream. But what if there's something more going on here? Tonight, we're going to tag along with Alice on her journey and use our songs to help us see if there's some sense in the nonsense. Sound like a plan? All right. The hints start with chapter 2. Alice has fallen down a rabbit hole, as you know, and she finds that she's too big to fit through a door, and a potion is conveniently available that makes her small, only then she can't reach the key to unlock it. Another potion makes her big, but then she can't go through the tiny door. Grace Slick of Jefferson Airplane famously saw this as proof that Alice was using hallucinogenic drugs. And you know the song, one pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. But there's a problem, because in this scene, Alice isn't a rebellious teen. She's a frightened 7-year-old who's all too familiar with change. Maybe she's sad because growing up means that she's always changing and often doesn't fit. We call our song Poor Alice. Now rather more than 9 feet high, she hurried to the garden door. Lying down to look into it, to get through was more than hopeless. Poor Alice. Now about 2 feet high, she ran back to the little door, but it was shut again. The key lying on the table. as before. Poor Alice. Was I the same when I got up? If I'm not, who in the world am I? Up to her chin in a pool of tears, splashing, a mouse had jumped in. Ooh, my shot, she began. I'm afraid I've offended it again. Poor Alice. Poor Alice. Poor Alice. So we just left Alice swimming around in a pool of her own tears. Oh, with a bunch of talking animals. I forgot to mention that. So, Chapter 3 starts with Alice and the animals drying off and doing what happens throughout the story, talking but making no sense. For instance, a mouse offers to tell a sad tale about a deadly encounter with a dog named Fury. The story is totally lost on Alice because she can't stop looking at the mouse's tail and wondering, how could it be sad? Another hint. How often do kids have no idea what we adults are talking about? We wanted to capture her confusion in a song we call A Sad Tale. A Fury said to a mouse that he met in the house, "I'll take no denial. We must have a trial," looking with wonder at the mouse's tail. But why do you call it sad? A trial with no jury or judge would be wasting our breath. "I'll be judge, I'll be jury," said cunning old Fury, looking with wonder at the mouse's tail. But why do you call it sad? What are you thinking of? mouse's tail. But why do you call it sad? Yeah. Ted Sophius on guitar. Okay. We need to talk about the White Rabbit. Do you remember, anyway, do you remember him saying, I'm late for a very important date. No time to move. Does that ring a bell with anybody? He never said that in the book. Disney invented that in 1951. Tonight, the lyrics we sing come directly from Lewis Carroll's text. So every word that comes out of our mouths is from the text that's in front of you. The original 1865 version of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And, you know, speaking of lyrics, let's take a moment. Let's toast our lyricist. To Lewis Carroll. Cheers. He couldn't be here tonight, but yeah, he's dead. Okay, back to the story. In chapter 4, Alice visits the rabbit's house, which I kind of thought was down the rabbit hole, but anyway, and drinks another potion, which makes her too large to get out. So once again, she doesn't fit. The rabbit, who's not terribly nice or funny, tasks one of his groundskeepers to go in after her, a hapless lizard who speaks in a working-class Irish brogue. So it turns out there's class consciousness in Wonderland, just like in Alice's waking world. And just like in the real world, the guy who's tasked to do the dirty work gets the short end of the stick. Or in this instance, a foot in the you-know-what, as Alice kicks him up the chimney and across the sky. The lizard's name is Bill, and that's the name of our song. Her head against the ceiling, she went on crowing. Put one arm out the window and one foot up the chimney. There goes Bill, where's the other ladder? There goes Bill, will the roof bear? There goes Bill, who's to go down the chimney? You gotta go. Drew her foot far down and waited till she heard a little animal scratching and scrambling. Then she gave a sharp kick. There goes Bill, catch him by the head, hold up his head. There goes Bill, don't choke him. What happened to you? Well, I hardly know. Something comes at me like a jack in the box, and up I goes like a skyrocket, like a skyrocket. This is just too much fun. All right. I won't go into detail, but this is one of the songs where I play a tambourine solo. So be prepared. Yeah. So next, in chapter 5, Alice encounters a blue caterpillar sitting on a mushroom, smoking a hookah. Drug references, anyone? But again, that's an easy answer, because this story was written 150 years ago by a Victorian who saw the world very differently than we do. We think that Carol's caterpillar is less Timothy Leary and more stern Tudor, albeit a blue insect. And I say this because it tasks Alice to recite a poem about a Father William, which is a parody of a real poem with the deadly title, The Old Man's Comforts and How He Gained Them. Alice would have been familiar with it because well-to-do Victorian girls were often homeschooled and forced to memorize long, awful poems with moral instructions called didactic poems. Carol's parody doesn't put much stock in them, so it's another reference to the inanity of the waking world. And Alice, doing her best to go along with the nonsense, gets it wrong from beginning to end, which is the name of this song. The caterpillar and Alice looked at each other. Who are you? I hardly know, Alice replied. For some minutes, it puffed away. Repeat, you are old, Father William. Alice folded her hands and began. Alice waited patiently for it to speak. One side will make you taller, the other shorter. Alice looking at a mushroom that was perfectly round. Thank you. That's Todd Rowan on bass. Whoa! And a little more goodness from Ted Sophius on guitar. So at this point in the story, it's pretty obvious that Alice's journey doesn't make much sense to her, and she's powerless to do anything about it, just like things felt to a 7-year-old Alice in the real world. The nonsense continues in chapter 6 when she meets the Cheshire Cat, who has the ability to materialize and dissolve, often with his grin appearing before or after he does. And this cat is cool. And he offers Alice an antidote for all the madness she's encountered. Since she's in Wonderland, she too must be mad. So she shouldn't worry about where she's going or what anything means. Just go with the flow. When we imagine the cat's voice reassuring her that it's all right, we heard it as sort of a 4-legged furry Matthew McConaughey. Only Alice isn't convinced by his advice or his directions. The song's called All Right. I gotta get my guitar. Melissa should play tambourine. I'm all for the tambourine. I'm telling you, once you go tambourine, you never go back. All right, thanks. Thank you. Anytime you guys are ready. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go? That depends on where you want to get to. All right, said the cat with a grin. In that direction lives a hatter. In that direction, a March hare. Visit either you like, they're both mad. All right, said the cat with a grin. I'd often seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat, it's the most curious thing I ever saw in my life. All right. So chapter 7, Alice goes to the famous tea party. And it starts with more riddles and wordplay. Again, nobody says what they mean or means what they say. We could say that about our own time, too. But then the Mad Hatter tells a story about singing so badly at a big event that time itself was offended and stopped talking to him, which means all the clocks stop working. That's why it's always tea time. Now, our song starts with the song the Mad Hatter butchered, which you might recognize. We didn't write it. It's one of the 10 songs that Carol wrote and plugged into his story, and he even suggested a melody, which he borrowed from a famous composer. The song we wrote that comes after it, the same song but the back half, back 9/10, we borrowed the melody from some other famous musicians who it turns out kind of borrowed it from that first composer. It will make more sense after we play this song. It's called Always Six. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Have you guessed the riddle yet? What's the answer? Alice replied. I haven't the slightest, said the Hatter, nor I, said the March Hare. It's always six. It's always six. It's always six. I think you might do something better with time. Alice sighed wearily. If you knew time, said the Hatter, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him. It's always six. It's always six. It's always six. At the great concert I had to sing, I'd hardly finished the first verse. The Queen bawled out, "He's murdering time!" Since that, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always six. It's always six. It's always six. Is that the reason tea things are put out here? Yes, said the Hatter with a sigh. We've got no time to wash things between whiles. Take some more tea, the March Hare said. It's always six. 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 Andrew Hollander Urbach on piano. Anybody recognize the opener part? What was that song? Twinkle, Twinkle. Who wrote it? No. Keep going. You're close. You're warm. Mozart. No. So yes, we thought that too. Mozart wrote the 12 variations, of which I think that is the 6th or 7th. Andrew, do you know which number that is? One of them. He wrote the 12 variations, but actually it was a French folk song without a actually attribution of the composer. So Mozart actually copied a song. How about the rest of the song? It's always 6. Do you recognize the chord progression there that was going on? Yes. Yes. So it's Get By With a Little Help From My Friends. Turns out the Beatles copied Twinkle Twinkle Little Star chord for chord. So we're thinking Mozart, the Beatles, Mortal Fools. Right? People judge you by the company you keep. So we're like halfway through the show. How are you doing? Yeah? Is this good so far? I want to tell you a little bit. So we're really thankful that you're here tonight. I can't really. I don't know how to say that forcefully enough. This little project of ours is 9 months in the making, between composing and rehearsing, and tonight is our first performance of Wonderland Revisited. And it's also going to be our last. Because we're going to move on to the next project, which will be A Christmas Carol Regifted. So before we go any further, we mortal fools want to raise our glasses and a toast to you for coming out tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And it should have been Beethoven. I agree. Yeah. Keep your glass, dude. Keep your glass, dude. Show of hands or by popular acclamation, how many people here have been to one of our other shows? Ah! Oh. Thank you for coming back. Whoa! Whoa. This is a big gulp. Thank you. Okay, now, this is a loaded question, and the person in the room will know why when I say it. Are there any Carol scholars in the room? You know who you are. Here's a little bit about our lyricist. Carol's real name was Charles Ludwig Dodgson. Say that fast 3 times. He lived from 1832 to 1898, and he spent his adult life working at Oxford University in a variety of roles, including lecturer in math and librarian. There's a little more on his background on the back of your booklets. We get tonight's story because of Carol's friendship, or Dodgson's friendship, with a college dean and his wife and kids with whom he'd go boating. On one such trip in 1862, Carol made up a story. 2 years later, he got around to writing it down, and he got it published a year after that. One of the kids in the boat on that day 3 years prior was named Alice. Now, nobody knows what was going on inside his head, but in the next chapter, chapter 8, we get another hint about what's going on in the story, as Alice finds herself at a party surrounded by talking playing cards. 3 gardeners, their card suit, spades, are worried that the Queen of Hearts intends to cut off their heads for some minor infraction. The Queen threatens this a lot, possibly as another reference to the waking world, where adult authority might seem crude or unfair. Further, we think it's telling that Alice refuses to give up the cards, to which the Queen responds, "Off with her head." We'd like to drive that point home with this next song, and we'd like your help. So this is the audience participation part. So as we're playing this song, a couple times in the chorus, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to want you, if you are so inspired, to say, "Off with their heads." So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, off with their heads. Don't worry about being on key. We don't. So, are you good with that? Should we do like the guys versus the gals, or the left? No, okay. Yeah. Right? This song is called Three Gardeners. Just give me one quick second. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I play the guitar on this one. Actually, I should have this thing like the guys do on their leg. Yeah. Yeah, busker, right? Yeah. All right, this is called Three Gardeners. Three gardeners lying on their faces. Who are these? Said the queen. How should I know? Said Alice. The queen screamed, off with their heads! Three gardeners jumped up. What have you been doing? Screamed the queen. May it please your majesty, said two. The queen said, off with their heads! Alice put them in a large flower pot. You shan't be beheaded. As the procession marched on, they're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. The great wonder is that there's anyone left alive. The queen had only one way of settling all difficulties. Pressing the Cheshire Cat, she said, off with their heads! It's rock and roll, right? I mean, so question, has anyone here ever had mock turtle soup?
All
Yes.
right.
How's it prepared? In a pan. Thank you. Try the veal. We're here till Tuesday. Well, according to the internets, the recipe is really quite simple. First, you drop a whole calf's head into a pot of boiling water, so the brains get nice and mushy. And then you throw in some seasoning and swirl it around. I'm going to stop there. It was a thing in Victorian society as a substitute for real turtle soup, because turtles were so popular they'd been hunted to near extinction. That's why when Alice meets a mock turtle on her next stop in chapter 9, he's half turtle and half cow. He's also very sad, perhaps because he knows he's a made-up character. He bemoans the fact that once I was real. Or maybe because he knows he's destined to become someone's lunch. Oddly, he wistfully remembers his education, led by a tortoise with a thick brogue accent who toward us, although the subjects he lists are utter nonsense. But it's not the nonsense that's important, at least to us. It's that once again Carol is dinging how Victorians were educated. And you might have a point about the nonsense of education. Quick poll. How many people here took trig in high school? Anybody ever use it since? Data scientists, hands down. So what is certain, though, is that the story has started to shift from silly to sad. And Alice is more acutely aware of it. The song is called We Went to School in the Sea. Ambition, distraction, uglification, derision. Mystery, ancient and modern, stretching, drawling, and fainting in coils. 10 hours the first day, 9 the next, the 11th a holiday. We went to school in the sea when we were little. Once I was real. Michael Ressler on drums. Give me a quick sec here. Thank you. I look like I need it. I know it's.
It's the old-fashioned.
Thank you.
I feel old-fashioned.
All right. So the Mock Turtle isn't done with Alice. In chapter 10, he sings a song about a fish trying to convince a snail to go for a swim. The fish is a whiting, and it's insistent, but there's a catch. After all, these are English creatures, even if they live in Wonderland. So going for a swim off the southern coast of England would send them in the direction of France. And France is where they eat escargot. No wonder the snail is hesitant. This is another of the songs that Carol wrote, so his lyrics are what we're singing now. Not just the text of the story, but he actually wrote the lyrics to a song. But he didn't suggest a melody. And what we found really weird when we did our research is that other versions of this song, there's one by Gene Wilder and a TV version from 1999, and the band Franz Ferdinand did one for Tim Burton's 2010 movie. They interpret the song as a slapstick dance, like it's funny. And we think there's something more meaningful, even more profound going on here. And it hinges on the snail's refusal to go along with it. We saw in that a hint of the life choices we adults are forced to make, and how frightening they must be to children. Carol called his song The Lobster Quadrille. Will you walk a little faster? Said a whiting to a snail. There's a porpoise close behind us, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on a shingle. Will you come to the dance? Will you? Won't you? Will you? Won't you? Will you join the dance? You could really have no notion how delightful it will be when they wake us up and throw us with the lobsters out to sea. Will you? Won't you? Will you? Won't you? Will you join the dance? What matters is how far you go, his scaly friend replied. There is another shore, you know, upon the other side. Yeah. asked for it. Woo! Are you drinking my drink? I'm not drinking your drink.
You're drinking my drink.
We're a band, dude. We share everything. Okay, now things get even weirder, if that were possible. In chapter 11, Alice finds herself at a garden party that morphs into a courtroom drama. The Knave of Hearts has been accused of stealing the Queen's tarts. And no surprise, she wants his head, announcing sentence first, verdict afterwards. Now, Alice knows that this isn't the way things are supposed to go. She's actually read about trials in the real world. So she's able, maybe for the first time in the story, to rely on her own knowledge and refute the nonsense around her. She's also getting more and more irritated by it all. For instance, she takes away a squeaky pencil from one of the jurors, our old friend Bill, the lizard. Only the lizard continues to write invisible notes with his finger in the air. This sham trial goes on, just like institutions seem to chug along in the waking world with no regard for reason. And we wanted to capture a relentlessness that doesn't pause until they decide to call their last witness. And this song is called Stolen Tarts. Alice has never been in court, but she read about them in books. She knew the name of nearly everything there. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts. The Knave of Hearts took them away. I suppose they're the jurors, thought Alice. Said the last time 2 or 3 times over. Proud as few little girls knew the meaning of it all. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts. The Knave of Hearts took them away. One of the jurors' pencil squeaked. Alice went round and took it away. He wrote with one finger, no mark on the slate. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts. The Knave of Hearts took them away. Some tarts. The Knave of Hearts took them away. Alice watched, curious to see who the next witness would be. When the White Rabbit read out the name, Alice. Thank you. So I'm going to introduce the fools up here one more time. First, on keys, Andrew Hollander-Urbach. On drums and cowbell, Michael Ressler. On bass, background vocals, and stealing my drink, Todd Rowan. And lead guitar and background vocals, Ted Sophius.
And singer-songwriter, master of the band, Mr. Jonathan Salem Baskin.
And tambourine soloist. Yeah, certain things just don't get enough respect. I gotta get the guitar.
God bless you.
God bless us. Oh, no, that's a different set, isn't it? Okay, so this next chapter is big. We're still at the trial, though now Alice is done taking anything at face value. She questions and challenges the so-called evidence presented to incriminate the knave, and she's more confident, regularly calling out the nonsense for what it is. And this infuriates the queen, who commands, exactly, to which Alice replies, "Who cares for you? You're nothing more than a pack of cards." This moment of clarity and honesty prompts all of the cards to jump on her, at which point she wakes up in her sister's lap with leaves falling on her face. So let's review. Alice never questioned 1, a rabbit wearing a waistcoat, 2, a storytelling mouse, 3, a hookah smoking caterpillar, 4, a disappearing cat, or 5, loads of weird, impossible situations, always choosing instead to question herself. But now she's done tolerating it, so what changed? Well, we asked AI. And there was no agreement. One, I think it was the Llama browser AI and Brave, noted that Alice returns to her full size in this chapter, showing that she has grown up and rejects her dream, while Claude sees no such maturation. Alice stays a child and just wakes up. We think both AIs got it wrong. Too much nonsense has gone on in the story that kind of makes sense if you think about it. So we chose to capture the moment when Alice reveals that she can finally tell the difference. Maybe it'll help us figure out where it leaves her. Our song is entitled "A Pack of Cards." I screwed it up. All right, let's try that again. Who's it directed to? It isn't directed at all. In the prisoner's handwriting, no. That proves his guilt. It proves nothing of the sort. The words don't fit you. It's a pun. verdict. Hold your tongue. Who cares for you? You're nothing but a pack of cards. 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 So that's how the story ends. Good night. No. Surprise ending. So that's how the story usually ends, the ones we've seen in movies and TV, right? Alice wakes up and goes inside to have her tea, and the dream's over. Only that's not how Carol's story ended. Here's the real ending. Alice lingers on the grass before leaving and tells her sister all about her dream. And then her sister just sits there, thinking about what Alice told her, her head on her hand as she watches the setting sun. And then she hears the white rabbit rushing by, the splashing of the sad mouse, the rattling teacups at the party, and the queen barking her orders. She knows it's not real. The sound's nothing more than the wind and nearby sheep bells. But she's discovered that the line separating Wonderland and the real world is nothing more than a matter of perspective. We think this is the realization Alice has with the playing cards. They both discovered that seeing one through the other is easy. All you have to do is close your eyes. It's telling that Alice's sister expects that Alice will keep the dream and share it with her own children so that their eyes will be made bright from seeing Wonderland. We think the author Virginia Woolf summed it up best when she said that the story, Alice in Wonderland, reflects Dodgson's unresolved dialogue with his own childhood. She said, quote, "These are not books for children. They are the only books in which we become children." Dodgson is telling himself and us that Wonderland isn't a place. It's a way of seeing the world as a child would, not just the way we're supposed to see it, but as it is, with all of its nonsense, inconsistencies, and wonder. Maybe he's saying with this story that a little nonsense could make a lot of sense every now and then. Alice found Wonderland. So did her sister. And we think Lewis Carroll wanted us to know that we too could visit it any time. Like we kind of just did. So, from us to you, may your days be filled with wonder. And when they're not, try to channel your inner Cheshire Cat and tell yourself, it's all right. So we really want to thank you for coming out tonight. And this is the final song, and it's called She Dreamed. Her sister sat thinking of Alice, watching the setting sun. The whole place around her became alive. She dreamed. She dreamed. The white rabbit hurried by. The queen ordering execution. cries of a shepherd boy. The lowing of cattle in the distance, all would change. She pictured herself grown. She would keep the dream, make children's eyes bright with tales of Wonderland. Tales of Wonderland. Tales of Wonderland. She dreamed. She dreamed. Yeah. See you in Wonderland. Now we're going to do the a cappella version, so you can remain standing for the next hour.